Hey everybody, I'm Lewie Allen, international session guitarist and Yamaha artist. Welcome to my rig rundown video series. Hey guys, welcome to the third video in the series on my rig rundown. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a guitar that was custom built for me by Yamaha. At the beginning of 2020, I sat down with a few of my contacts at Yamaha and we discussed what would make a great session guitar for a busy session guitarist. Now generally when I tour, I'll take at least 5 or 6 guitars with me, whether it be having something in E flat or drop D, or just different guitars for different sounds and tones. But in reality, with modern music sounding how it does, I'd need about 5 guitars to cover all bases that were needed in a modern pop set. We spoke about other factors that make a great guitar, such as playability, sound, versatility. It has to look great because it's going to be on stage. All those things, plus many others, all factor into what makes a great guitar. At the end of the discussions, we came to the conclusion that it would be really tricky to be able to make a guitar that would cover every song in the set. But that was something Yamaha were interested to see if they could solve for me by making this. There it is, look at that. Look at the flame on that. So with pop music sounding the way it does these days, and maybe traditional sounding guitar taking a slight back step than what it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I found myself in situations in rehearsals where I'd be playing like a pad or maybe a little synth line or something like that without a guitar in my hand. Now for me, the MIDI guitar thing has always been a massive factor. I have to kind of get by in the studio by playing some MIDI synth. I'm not a keyboard player, but I have to make do. So for me, having something that resembles guitar, but is able to trigger MIDI, are the stuff that dreams are made of. Again, there's a few clips within this video showing you how I would use certain features on this guitar. This next little clip I want to show you is kind of showing you a day-to-day task that I'd have to do in the studio. So if I was producing a song for someone, I'd have to trigger the drums, play the bass in, play the synth keyboards in, and also play the guitar in. So what I've done is I've built a track from scratch using just this guitar to trigger all the MIDI. All the other guitar parts are recorded normally through the pickups and jack input, but literally all of the MIDI instruments you're about to hear are recorded with this guitar. The guitar Yamaha built me was made of a solid older body, which has been relicked, which I absolutely love. I wanted the guitar to be black and have a black scratch plate and have a thin nitrocellulose lacquer top. I always really liked the Yamaha Mike Stern guitar, so that's why I picked this body shape with the single cut. They gave it a roasted maple flame neck. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. And for the MIDI side of things, they fitted it with ghost saddles and a 13-pin output, which is compatible with a lot of the Roland GK stuff. So finding some of the interfaces to make that work is quite tricky these days. Unless you buy one of the big multi-effects pedals with a 13-pin input, you'll probably struggle to find something that will convert that 13-pin into MIDI. However, I did find a few things on eBay from the early 90s which are still holding up. I ended up picking a set of Lola pickups, which I've had really good experiences with in the past. So in the neck, I had a standard wind P90, and in the bridge, I had a backwards slanted special single coil. So this is the P90 neck pickup. Again, it's beautiful, it's round, it's warm. I love that pickup. The middle pickup position has that real funky out of phase kind of sound. Again, super usable. So I don't really miss those out of phasey sounds too much, because I can get it with this guitar. And the bridge really cuts through, but without sounding harsh. And again, angling the pickup backwards, you get a slightly crisper bass sound and a slightly warmer treble with it, which I absolutely love. So for me, the MIDI side of things has always been a bit of a stickler. I use MIDI every day in the studio, whether I'm producing tracks for other people or laying guitar parts down. So I'm constantly changing between guitar and MIDI keyboard. So if I could find a guitar that does both, I'd be in dreamland, I think. As I mentioned earlier, I've had MIDI guitars that are based on computer games before, which are great for about 5 minutes until they break, and then it's game over for that. You're on to the next MIDI guitar, you'll find that, and then that'll break 5 minutes later. So it's always been a little bit of a thing for me. Again, I'm sure you can spend £3,500–4,000 on a dedicated MIDI guitar, but if it doesn't do any of the other guitar stuff, it's kind of a little bit pointless, certainly for what I do. So with the MIDI on this, you have to play slightly differently. For example, you have to be pretty accurate with what you're doing. You can't be doing any Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of rhythm on this. But it didn't take me too long at all to learn how to get the best out of this. Check out the next video here. Again, I'm playing some quite technical rhythm stuff on guitar, but the tracking is so good, it picks up pretty much every single note. As you can see from that video, it tracks so well. So for me, the possibilities are endless with this, and certainly, the same as I mentioned earlier, the way the music industry is going, something like this keeps me in work. If there's no guitar part on the track, I can play a synth part or a percussion track with this guitar. So again, it's an ability to adapt within the music industry as well, so I love that. Well, that's it for this video in my rig rundown series. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about how I use my gear in my live setup and my studio setup. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, bye. To watch the other videos in my rig rundown series, head to my YouTube channel and you'll find them all there. Also, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more cool content.